Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Mr. Perez, and you're listening to the Better Live Than Dead podcast, brought to you exclusively on GERE Network. Listen in.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 34 of the Better Live Than Dead podcast. I am Ryan Wolf.
34.
Yes, you're supposed to introduce yourself.
Normally you say, sitting across from me, it's Mr. Perez, so I was waiting for that.
I figured you'd pick up on I'm trying to change my ways. You know, usually I just jump in and we don't introduce ourselves, but today I thought maybe
we'll do that.
I'll be a changed man. And
hello.
Hi.
I am Mr. Perez.
Introduce ourselves right off the bat. We got a lot to talk about today.
But you can call me Mr. Perez.
Exactly. I still call you Mr. Perez. It was just kind of funny.
It's all good. You'd be surprised how many people don't call me Lewis anymore.
Call you Mr. Perez.
They call me Mr. Perez or Jerkface.
That's how I was introduced to you. So
right.
There's a lot of football news to talk about this week.
Tons.
It's almost too much.
There was a lot of moves this week.
Yeah, almost too much to talk about. And guess what? We've got, I think, almost every move on paper we're going to talk about today.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
We got to make sure that we're going to hit them all.
Hey, listen, people in listening land, if you didn't notice how many moves happened this week, what are you, living under a rock?
Yeah, it was.
Pay attention, people.
It was pretty crazy. I mean, I was at work and trying to keep up with every move, and every minute and a half, I'm opening my phone and typing up a new deal on my phone. And
right. I'm driving in between stores like on Tuesday, and my phone's just blowing up with all the updates. I was like, come on. Stop it.
Phone dies after 25 minutes because there's so many updates.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
I just want to jump in head first into the news this week. Starting off Major League Baseball, we're going to talk football. We're going to talk football last. Cliffhanger, you got to wait for it. If you want it, you got to wait for it. Phillies pitcher
Isn't that how it always is?
Phillies pitcher Cliff Lee has a torn flexor tendon in his elbow. Surgery is likely. Also, could end his career because he said if he had to have surgery in his elbow, it probably would end his career.
That sucks for him.
Nationals outfielder Denard Span underwent what they call core muscle surgery, had a tear in his rectus abdomen muscle, a slight tear, out at least a month. He had surgery in the offseason for, I believe it was, a sports hernia.
Yeah.
So that's not good, but he'll be back shortly. Cleveland Indians pitcher Gavin Floyd has a stress fracture in his pitching elbow.
Oh, that sucks.
Which is, that's bad news bears right there.
For real.
Toronto pitcher Marcus Stroman continues the weird injuries of the spring.
Well, let me ask you a question real quick. When you were investigating that with the tear in the muscle or the tiny fracture in the elbow, do they have to operate on that, or are they just going to have to wrap it up?
I think you have like micro fracture surgery or something on your elbow, or I don't know.
Okay,
I'm not a doctor, but I know it would require surgery to fix it.
You just play one on air.
Exactly. I just play a doctor on TV.
Right.
Weird injuries continue. Major League Baseball.
I love weird injuries during the offseason.
Preseason. Toronto pitcher Marcus Stroman, said to be one of the top pitchers for the Blue Jays this year, tore his left ACL in a bunting drill. Just fielding a bunt.
Bunting drill.
Fielding a bunt.
And he
popped his leg. Yeah, he ran. He was actually going to get the ball. The third baseman, Josh Donaldson, called him off. He stopped, and that's when his knee popped.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not good. So he'll be out for the year. So the Blue Jays the Toronto Blue Jays' chances at a playoff spot just took a slight hit.
That's crazy.
And it's not even April yet.
I couldn't imagine just like stopping randomly and all of a sudden your knees like pop.
Talk to my dad about that one. He's had enough knee problems. Yeah,
Crazy.
I have it where I'll stand up and start to walk and something pops, but can't imagine like running and then planting, and then once you plant, your leg just says, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, I've had that happen, but...
Yeah, that would be terrible.
Yeah, but I haven't like torn or like broken anything. I mean, I have torn and broken stuff, but not like that.
You know what? Back when I was in high school, I sprained my MCL pretty bad by stretching.
Stretching?
Yeah, stretching.
You should probably stretch more.
Well, I pulled...
keep that from happening.
I grabbed my leg to pull it up behind to kind of stretch out the upper leg.
Maybe do some DDP yoga.
And it popped. Well, I tried that. Yeah, DDP yoga's pretty good.
So, Samito's been doing that.
I'm not very flexible. Not very flexible at all. It's kind of painful.
It happens.
Maybe I can make myself into a human pretzel.
There you go.
Probably not. Speaking of knees, San Diego. I almost said San Diego Chargers because I have San Diego. I have SDC written down in the paper.
Yeah, wrong sport.
San Diego Padres catcher Tim Fedorovich.
That's a name.
I got it. Tim Fedorovich has a lateral meniscus tear in his knee, a complete tear we found out a couple days ago, so he's out 3 to 6 months. Instead of a couple weeks where they could just remove the messed up part of the knee, the part of the meniscus, I should say, because you don't take the whole knee out. Instead, it's a total tear, 3 to 6 months. Big hit for what he was said to be their backup catcher. So
is he Russian? No? What is he?
I don't know.
What is his name? Fedorovich.
It's Federowicz.
Oh,
it's just spelled. It's just.
So it's probably not
Fedorovich.
Russian.
No,
he might be like Swedish or something like that.
It's a baseball player.
Right, that's why I was confused. Like the baseball player, you don't hear very many Russian baseball players. At least not here in the States.
I don't know. Maybe I can Wikipedia it. I don't know if it's that important.
It's really not. We keep going on. We're just making conversation on air.
Tampa Bay Rays sign pitcher. Now I'm looking this up, by the way.
Now he's like, I gotta know. So you brought it up.
Well, it's not very hard. You type in Federo and his name comes up.
That's hilarious.
He's from Pennsylvania.
Okay, all right.
Maybe it's a Pennsylvania thing.
So he's Dutch.
Wikipedia does not say, so maybe. Worth a shot, worth a guess. Tampa Bay signs pitcher Johnny Venters to a 2-year deal. Now he's coming off of his third Tommy John surgery. Won't pitch until maybe late this year. So it's kind of like you sign him to a 2-year deal, you get him under contract with your doctor so they know how his elbow's getting healing, and then if he comes back next year. I mean, he was a good pitcher when he could pitch.
Third, though, that's rough.
Yeah, that's dedication. A lot of people don't come back after one. He's come back on his third now. So, also, speaking of Tommy John surgery, Yu Darvish has decided to get Tommy John surgery. He'll be out for the entire season.
I just like his name.
Tough hit for the Texas Rangers.
I agree. I just like his name. It makes me chuckle.
New York Yankee prospect Brian Alcantara suspended 72 games for... I was pronouncing this before the podcast, but I forgot how to pronounce it. Stanzolol. I don't know.
Just say a performance enhancer.
Yeah, PED.
Listen, if you're a top Yankees prospect...
Stanozolol. That's how I think.
Okay.
It's Stano, and then it's Zol, and then it's Lol.
Stanozolo.
There you go. Thank you. Stanozolo.
Okay.
And that's what I was doing before. I was checking out some names that I had to pronounce, and I was checking out the PED names, and I had to go to dictionary.com and have them pronounce it for me, but I think I got it. And
Good job. If you're a top Yankees prospect, you should probably get off the gas.
If you're any Yankee prospect, probably should be on the gas because they've got a bad history with the
yes. If you want to make that money, stop doing stupid things.
Moving over to the NBA now. I agree with you. Moving over to the NBA now. Speaking of doing stupid things, the seamless transition this week. So far, so good. They probably will sound clunky once I listen back to them, but I feel like I'm just going through them. I'm on a roll right now. I'm on fire. Don't stop me.
I'm not going to.
Excuse me. Dwayne Wade calls out Miami Heat's Dwayne Wade. Calls out fellow teammate Hassan Whiteside following Hassan Whiteside's ejection versus Boston. Dwayne Wade said, quote, "He's had enough veteran advice. There comes a time when you have to do it yourself. There's only so many words people can continue to say to you. You've got to do it. Not for you. You got to do it for the other guys in here that see you sacrificing, that you see out there playing hurt and all things that are going on. You're part of a team. You're part of an organization. We all have our moments, selfish moments, but you can't continue to keep having them because you got to be reliable and you got to be able to be counted on. And right now, if he continues to act that way, then he's not reliable." Do you blame Dwayne Wade for these words? For being angry?
No.
Against his teammate?
No. Sometimes you got to call your teammates out. Sometimes you have to say, "Hey, stop being an idiot." And you know, you're making millions of dollars. Be a better team player.
Don't be selfish.
Right.
I was expecting a better answer from you because that's why I asked you, and you just were like, "No." I'm like, oh, that was a good one.
I got no issues with Dwayne Wade calling someone out.
It's a great time to ask a question.
I got no issues with it. What did you want me to say? You want me to throw a fit?
We've got some more dysfunction here.
Right here, now.
The Los Angeles Lakers, they told Steve Nash in the preseason. Steve Nash said, "I want to retire." They said, "Don't retire."
Okay.
He said, "Well, why is that?" And they said, "Because we want to trade you for cap reasons. Obviously, if you trade him, you get like the exceptions and all that stuff.
Right.
Obviously, it never worked out. So Steve Nash spent the season getting paid, which probably makes the Lakers fans not like him any much more than they already do.
It's not a bad gig if you get it.
Not a bad gig at all. It just is funny that they think going into the season, don't retire, just stay on the team.
Right.
We'll trade you to someone that needs to take on a cap hit to hit the floor. We'll trade you like Philadelphia or something,
It just didn't work out.
But you're not going to play because obviously his back is shot. I think he needs like some fusions in his back or something. He's all messed up. He's better.
It's too bad because he was one of the greatest point guards ever.
Fun to watch.
It was.
Especially in his like Phoenix Suns days. Those were a lot of fun teams to watch.
That dude could, make a pass out of nothing. It was ridiculous.
Moving over to the NHL now, the Islanders lock up defenseman Johnny Boychuk, 7 years, $42 million. A lot of money for a very good defenseman.
7 years, what?
$42 million.
That's not bad.
It's good money. Like you said, it's a good gig if you can get it.
Yeah.
Moving over to NASCAR now, Kurt Busch has been reinstated but placed on indefinite probation, I assume, of the double secret variety.
Probably.
But he's eligible for the championship if he wins a race. NASCAR did the right thing, suspending him when they went to the judge, and the judge said we have enough evidence to charge him. But when they went to charge him, there was the evidence backed out.
He better watch out for his girlfriend.
She's an assassin.
His ex-girlfriend. Now he's been reinstated.
Yeah,
she might strike when he doesn't see it coming.
Silent but deadly, right?
That's right.
Moving over to the NFL now. Before we talk free agency, we've got some news to discuss. First off, 49ers linebacker Patrick Willis retires. He joins Jim Brown as the only player to make 7 straight Pro Bowls and not play in his 30s. Perez, do you think that Patrick Willis is a Hall of Famer?
It's possible, but I have a hard time with that. I mean, you had some really good seasons. You never really won a title. I would say
one of the best linebackers of his era.
I was just about to say he's one of the best to come along in his era. So yeah, I would say he probably is.
A lot of people have been mentioning it, which is why I wanted to ask you, see what you think. But I do believe if he might be strong in the discussion in 5 years.
Yeah, it's very real. It's a very real possibility. I get why he's stepping down. Health reasons.
He said his foot. He just had foot surgery in the offseason. He said he doesn't have feet to stand on. They're so messed up.
Yeah, so
and he wants to.
I get it.
The quote from him was, "He wants to retire, not be retired."
Yeah, which makes sense, especially nowadays.
Which is something that we've heard from a couple other guys this week. We heard Tennessee quarterback Jake Locker retired. There's a lot of teams that had interest in him. I think he's 26.
Yes,
he walks away from football. Pittsburgh outside linebacker Jason Worlds retires. He also had a lot of interest.
Who?
Jason Worlds.
That's going to be a huge loss.
Yeah.
No idea who that dude is.
He's a really good linebacker.
Is he?
Very
Never even heard of him.
Best linebacker. It's because the Steelers have been irrelevant for the past couple years. When the Steelers are good, you know every guy in the Steelers. When they're not good, like Ben Roethlisberger. That's it.
Right.
And Le'Veon Bell.
Well, yeah. I don't really follow the Steelers. They're not my team.
I know you're a Cowboys fan. You don't like the Steelers. That's like me being like, I like the Red Sox. I don't follow the Yankees. Duh.
No, I follow the Steelers. I just never heard of him for some reason.
St. Louis Rams cornerback Cortland Finnegan retires and then takes a parting shot at Andre Johnson. You recall the man who beat the crap out of Cortland Finnegan on a football field.
Yes.
Cortland Finnegan still says he hits like a bitch.
That's funny.
But I'm pretty sure Andre Johnson got a good couple shots in the dude's face. So.
He did.
Free agent running back Chris Johnson was shot in the shoulder in a drive-by shooting during, I think it was earlier this week. He's expected to recover and be just fine.
Listen, I'm gonna throw this out there.
Okay.
If you're a player who makes tons and tons of money, you may want to stay away from areas where you grew up, i.e., the ghetto.
I don't hang out with people who have rap sheets for drug-related issues.
Right. Like, hang out maybe in the suburbs a little more. I'm just going to throw that out there. I mean, I hang out in the ghetto because I live in the ghetto. But you know what I don't make? Millions of dollars.
That's true.
So, I make good money, but not millions of dollars.
I get you. I make couples of dollars.
So
I feel you.
You may want to stay away from those areas.
AEG withdraws their intent to build Farmers Field in Los Angeles. I think it was the next couple weeks. They would have to renew their bid with the city of Los Angeles. They said, this isn't going to happen. We're not going to waste our time.
Right.
And that was the football field that was going to go right next to Staples Center. They were going to make a big football complex.
Yeah, all those deals fell apart.
Well, that deal did. The other two were still kind of
I heard the one for Oakland is falling apart completely.
Well, I think the Inglewood one. Yeah, I don't think they want
Inglewood.
They don't want the stadium there.
Always up to no good.
But the Hollywood Park one, I think, might happen. That's the Rams one. But then again, the Rams have a stadium in St. Louis. A lot of it, I think, is just posturing.
Right.
Like when Oakland went to San Antonio and was like, hey, we're going to move here. Because they want somebody to be like, no, don't go. And they're like, really, you want us to stay? Cool, build us a brand new stadium and we won't go anywhere.
San Antonio Raiders?
I guess so.
That doesn't sound good.
Houston outside linebacker Jadeveon Clowney was bit by a teammate's dog this week.
Jadeveon can't catch a break.
That's the only reason I mentioned it, because he can't catch a break.
Can't catch a break. Yeah, it's too bad because he's a very talented football player.
I feel like the thing about last year was when he hurt his knee, he didn't want to come back too quick and re-injure it.
Which makes sense.
And everyone in Houston was calling him soft. Even the team. I mean, there's people on the team that were calling him soft.
Yeah, but I mean, if you watch his play in college, I mean, just that one play where he literally de-helmeted that dude.
When he played with the Texans this year, J.J. Watt is J.J. Watt, but
right.
With Jadeveon Clowney in the field, he's better.
Oh, absolutely. And Jadeveon Clowney's still young. You don't want to have him damage his knee irreparably.
Plus, wasn't it? Sorry to interrupt you.
Too early.
Wasn't it microfracture surgery he had? So yeah, you don't mess around with that.
No, so I get it. Let him heal up. Let him come back better than ever.
Especially because they said with the microfracture surgery, his career probably won't last more than 10 years. So
right. So let him
heal and then get milk him for what you got.
Exactly, because he's going to be a beast on the field.
San Francisco 49ers fullback Bruce Miller was arrested for pushing his fiancée and breaking her cell phone. No comment from the National Football League at this time, but obviously if charges are filed and he is convicted, I'm assuming he will have a nice little suspension coming for him, as he should.
So he pushed his fiancée?
Pushed her to the ground and destroyed her cell phone. And was arrested for domestic assault or something, I think.
That's not good.
No.
What will these people learn?
Never, I don't think.
It's stupid.
I don't think they're ever going to learn.
Don't push a female.
Yeah.
Don't. Well, I mean,
look at it. If a woman is pissing you off that much, she's probably not worth your time.
Or just walk away and go punch a wall.
Or same thing to females. If a man is doing that stuff, not worth your time.
Oh, but he loves me. Sometimes he just gets mad. You know how many times I've heard that crap? Like,
I've heard that. I'm 23, Perez. I've heard that like a million times.
Yeah, stop it. Move on.
You'd be happier.
Yeah.
This has been the Love Advice Corner from Dr. Love, Mr. Perez, and Ryan Wolf.
That's right.
One last thing before we move on to free agency. New York Giants head coach Tom Coughlin, 1-year extension through the 2016 season. I'm assuming that will be curtains for him. He's like almost 70 years old, isn't he?
Yeah, he's getting up there.
But they won't fire him because he won 2 Super Bowls. Which
right.
is understandable. I mean, it's the same reason they won't get rid of Eli Manning.
He's won 2 Super Bowls, but his regular season record is not the best. I think he's like 60-48.
That's actually, I'm going to look that up. You talk about him for a second.
Because I mean, sure, you want to sign him. He's been your coach for a while. You've won 2 Super Bowls. But like, if you look at his actual regular season record, it's not stellar.
Well, that's why I don't know why I just said light there. That's why, like, if you look at Eli Manning's regular season,
right?
No.
Yeah, but you know what?
The postseason is why he's there.
Right. As much as I'm not a fan of Eli Manning, I would take Eli in the postseason before I would take his brother.
Absolutely, I would take Eli in the postseason before Peyton, but
regular season, I'm taking Peyton all day.
Regular season, Eli just throws a bunch of ducks.
Right. So
head coaching record. Oh, I never knew that. He coached at RIT.
Yes, he did.
70 to 73. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Boston College, Jacksonville. He took Jacksonville to the playoffs.
Right.
2004, he started coaching. 96 and 80. He's got a 5.4. He has a 5.45 win percentage, but he's 8-3 in the playoffs.
Yeah. See, the playoff record is what really gets him.
But the only time, here's an interesting thing. The only time Tom Coughlin has won games in the playoffs is when he's won the Super Bowl.
Right.
Every other year he's 1 and done.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So 96 and 80, though, I mean, that's not really stellar.
No, it's not. Doesn't jump off the page.
As a matter of fact, I mean, he'll be in the running for the Hall of Fame.
He'll be in the Hall of Fame because he won 2 Super Bowls.
Because he won 2 Super Bowls.
Same thing with Eli. Eli will be in the Hall of Fame because he won 2 Super Bowls.
Right.
That's how it works. Moving over to free agency now. We're going to try to hit this as fast as we possibly can before we start to echo.
Well, you just want to pause and come back?
Well,
should we take a commercial break?
You know what? Let's be crazy. Let's take a commercial break.
Okay.
When we come back, we're going to run through free agency. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to run through free agency.
Sounds good. I like
Stay
it.
tuned. Better Live Than Dead podcast, GERE Radio Network.
While you're listening to this podcast, make sure you follow us on social media. You can follow me at WolfSHC on Twitter. You can also follow Mr. Perez at MRLG Perez. Make sure to like the podcast on Facebook. That's facebook.com/BLTD podcast. And make sure to follow GERE Network on Twitter at GERE Network.
Returning in April, ladies and gentlemen, it is the JC Money Show Uncensored. Think of it as Get Ready America without the radio-friendly-isms. Yeah, we're going to be talking to a few of my wrestling buddies about the recent Pier 6 Wrestling revelation, them not returning to action, or maybe they are, but just without their entire roster. We're going to talk to a few people that are in the know. We're also going to talk some news, sports, current events. Basically, like I said, Get Ready America without the radio edits. Parents, not the show you want your kids listening to, but you may want to listen to after you put them to bed. Exclusively here, this coming April, on the GERE Radio Network.
What's up, guys? This is Paul Wagner, guitar player for Between the Buried and Me, and you're listening to Better Live Than Dead.
Hey, man, so during the break, hey, first of all, welcome back, everyone. This is Better
Welcome.
Live Than Dead. I'm Mr.
Let me
Perez.
just make sure before you talk that my microphone. Okay, my microphone's working. I just want to make sure. I always come back from commercials, so I always know, because my microphone is the one we always have the problems with.
That's true.
Back to what you're saying. I'm sorry.
That's true. We were talking some music and bumpers beforehand. The Scorpions are launching a new tour date.
I saw that.
New tour. And Queensryche is opening for them.
Where are they playing?
Well, from what I've seen, the closest they're going to be to here is either Brooklyn or Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland's pretty close.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might have to roll out there.
That'd be cool.
That'd be an awesome freaking concert. Like, I've seen Queensryche live.
Yeah.
When they did the Operation Live Crime tour for Operation Mindcrime 1. And it was an awesome concert.
I'm not a big Queensryche guy.
Oh, I love
but
Queensryche.
I would go see him. I would go see Queens. I would go see Scorpions.
They're one of my favorite bands.
I would go see the Scorpions.
Ever. Because they're very bass heavy. And I love a band that focuses on the bass guitar.
Slap of the bass, man.
Yeah, the Queensryche is awesome. And they're touring with the Scorpions. We might have to go to that, man.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be awesome.
I'm mad because I want to go see Seether on Cinco de Mayo, but I can't take work off because I don't make a lot of money. So when I take a day off, I make a lot less of no money.
Right.
So I'm like, well, this sucks. And then there's not really many good shows coming to Rochester that I've seen yet.
Who are they playing with?
They're playing with Tremonti, which is
okay.
The guitarist from Creed, but it's not Creed. It's completely
Right.
different. And the bassist is Eddie Van Halen's son. So,
Really?
Yes.
Very cool.
So I'm interested. That's why I'm interested in that. But they
Right.
got some good stuff, and Seether's good.
Yeah, Seether's not bad.
I've been listening to them a lot lately, and they're actually a bumper in the podcast this week. So
Oh, there you go.
I was sitting in bed this morning, and I was like, "What should I make the podcast bumpers?" And I'm like, "Oh, Seether."
You know who I never liked?
Who?
Who had a huge following, and to this day, I don't understand why they had a huge following.
Who's that?
A Perfect Circle.
I didn't really listen to them.
Dude, they had like 2 good songs, and the 2 songs were actually really good.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to go buy this album. And I went and bought the album, and I listened to the album, and I was like, holy cow, this album sucks.
I'm trying to remember what song.
I don't remember off the top of my head. It was so
I can
long
hear it in
ago.
my head, but I can't remember the name. The thing about Seether I wanted to mention, too, remember Zach Gowen, the one-legged
Yeah.
wrestler? They did a theme song.
Did they?
Long time
Oh,
ago.
yeah, that's right. Okay.
Long time ago.
Right. His career didn't last long, by the way.
He's still wrestling, though.
Where?
Independent.
Oh, well, okay, that makes sense.
Any guy who wrestles in the Fed goes independent. And,
Yeah,
and-
that's
and
true.
It's all around. I'm going to book him in a match, kick your ass. I would pay for that to happen.
With one leg?
I'd pay for that to happen. Beat the crap out of Perez with a fake leg.
Good luck with that.
I saw him do a one-legged moonsault on Big Show in like 2004 or something like that. It was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I remember that.
It was pretty cool. Moving back to the NFL free agency now. Starting off with I tried to do these in order, but just a heads up. If you like the Bills, Cowboys, or Jets and don't care about the rest of the NFL, you can skip the segment because we're going to talk about that later because that's what we love to talk about, our
Right.
football teams. So a little bit of a teaser. Bills, Jets, Cowboys coming up later in the podcast.
Well, the only reason we're talking about the Jets later on is because JC is.
Well, and they did a lot.
Team.
Well, the thing is,
they did do a ton,
and that's the reason because the Cowboys didn't do a lot.
No,
which they don't really have to.
No,
but the Jets did a ton, and I want to see what Perez has to say about it, just so we can listen. I can hear John cringe as we're talking about it. I can just hear him cringing as he's listening to it. The Arizona Cardinals re-signed quarterback Carson Palmer, just a restructuring of his contract, clear cap space. They cut center Lyle Senline. Pretty sure that's how you say it. Signed linebacker Sean Witherspoon, guard Mike Iapati, linebacker Lamar Woodley, defensive tackle Corey Redding, offensive lineman A.Q. Shipley, and defensive tackle Corey Peters. Their defense gets stronger. The San Francisco 49ers cut wide receiver Stevie Johnson, re-signed quarterback.
I was surprised by that, by the way.
Too much of a cap hit.
True, but I mean, he's not a bad wide receiver.
Not at all, but it's a big cap hit, and they wanted to cut the cap hit for what he does and how much he was on the field last year. Excuse me, they wasn't worth it. But the Patriots might sign him because if there's one man who is good at destroying Darrelle Revis, it's Stevie Johnson.
True story.
Which is why you get him back in the division. Like I said, they re-signed Blaine Gabbert. They signed wide receiver Torrey Smith from the Baltimore Ravens, a big deal to match him up with Anquan Bolden, and signed cornerback Chris Culliver. Seattle signed cornerback Will Blackman and cornerback Kerry Williams. Blackman used to be a Seattle Seahawk, then went to the Giants. Now he's back. Kerry Williams, obviously an ex-Eagle. And something we're going to talk about a little later in the podcast, they acquired tight end Jimmy Graham in what has to be one of the biggest moves of this free agency. But when you talk about it, it makes sense. But we'll talk about it later, like I said, so stick around for that one. The St. Louis Rams signed linebacker Akeem Ayers and defensive tackle Nick Fairley, which should shore up their already scary defense. Hopefully this year, though, it starts hot and doesn't get hot as the year goes on, because I remember last year,
right,
I bit the bullet and I think I have a sliver in my finger somehow or a cut in my hand.
I'm sorry.
I don't know what the hell happened. It really hurts, though.
That's weird.
They started last year off terribly.
They did,
and
absolutely.
Their defense was supposed to be really good. I drafted their defense fantasy football, dropped them after, I think, 2 weeks.
Right.
I ended up getting the Bills' defense off waivers, but, you know.
Their defense wasn't horrible, though.
No, as the year went on, it was good, but they just started off really slow, and with that offense, the lack of offense that they had, you know.
The offense suffered.
It was their downfall. They acquired quarterback Nick Foles, something we'll talk about in a little bit, and quarterback Case Keenum. Re-signed tight end Lance Kendricks and wide receiver Kenny Britt, and they cut tackle Jake Long and center Scott Wells, two guys I believe they signed last offseason.
Yeah.
Denver re-signed tight end Virgil Green, signed tight end Owen Daniels, defensive lineman Vance Walker, safety Darian Stewart, and guard Shelley Smith. Kansas City signed wide receiver Jeremy Maclin, not surprising, obviously, with Andy Reid being there, and safety Tyvon Branch of the Raiders. They acquired offensive guard Ben Grubbs from the Saints, which we will discuss shortly. They re-signed wide receiver Jason Avant, tight end Richard Gordon, and safety Kelsey McRae, and they cut wide receiver Dwayne Bowe, who's expected to be a very big free agent in the very small wide receiver market.
Right.
Oakland signed center Rodney Hudson, linebacker Malcolm Smith, tight end Lee Smith, running back Roy Halou, defensive tackle Dan Williams, linebacker Curtis Lofton, quarterback Christian Ponder, safety Nate Allen, and cornerback James Dockery. Very busy.
Dude, Oakland just remade their whole team.
They had $70 million in cap space.
Yeah,
you got to spend money somewhere. San Diego gets better. They cut offensive guard Chad Reinhardt, re-signed cornerback Brandon Flowers, signed offensive tackle Orlando Franklin from the Broncos, center Trevor Robinson, defensive end Ricardo Matthews, and safety Jimmy Wilson. Let me get my card stock paper out of the way. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, a public service announcement. When you print stuff off the printer, make sure there's actual paper in the printer, not card stock. I feel like I'm carrying around a damn briefcase with these pieces of paper.
And you only have 5 of them.
Four of them. Yeah, and it's like I'm carrying a brick. The Chicago Bears signed linebacker Pernell McPhee of the Ravens, safety Antrell Roll, and wide receiver Eddie Royal. Detroit signed defensive tackle Tyron Walker, and a big acquisition to fill the hole for Ndamukong Suh. They acquired defensive tackle Haloti Ngata from the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, that's a good sign right there.
That's a big pickup.
That's pretty big.
It's almost like you get the same production, you just don't have a complete. I was gonna say the word J.O., but a complete asshole.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. I mean, it's his game.
Yes,
and he lives up to it. But
right. Although I've heard Sue's actually a really nice guy off the field.
He's a nice guy off the field, but on the field, he's a terrible person.
Yeah.
Green Bay re-signs offensive tackle Brian Bulaga. Interesting because the Buffalo Bills offered him more money, but obviously the fit was better in Green Bay. Minnesota re-signed running back Matt Asiata, signed quarterback Sean Hill, and acquired Mike Wallace from the Miami Dolphins.
That's a good acquiree.
Minnesota was second for him when he signed with Miami a couple years ago. Miami wanted to get rid of him, wanted to cut the cap space, so they get.
It's a good pickup for Minnesota.
Very big pickup. Baltimore re-signs running back Justin Forsett, and they restructure the contract of Terrell Suggs, linebacker. Cincinnati re-signs offensive tackle Eric Winston and offensive guard Clint Bowling, and signs linebacker A.J. Hawk from the Green Bay Packers.
Hawk?
Yeah. I believe he's still married to Brady Quinn's sister.
I just like that name.
It's a good name. Cleveland re-signed defensive end John Hughes. They signed him to an contract extension, and they signed quarterback Thad Lewis, who still finds a way to remain in the National Football League. Pittsburgh cut defensive end Brett Kiesel, the Beard, as some may know him.
Beard.
They re-signed linebacker Arthur Motes. Don't cross the Motes. And they signed Ben Roethlisberger to a large quarterback, or they signed the large quarterback to a large extension. He's a big guy. I don't know why it's a large quarterback, but he's a big guy. Ben Roethlisberger, 5-year contract extension. His contract was up after the season, and they signed running back D'Angelo Williams from the Carolina Panthers.
That's a good sign.
With Le'Veon Bell in that backfield, that's pretty
it's a good backfield. Although I got to be honest with you, I mean, signing Roethlisberger to a 5-year deal is kind of risky.
Well, they wanted to show him that he's part of the future of the team.
No, which is good. Keep him on your team. He's been there forever.
He's the guy.
He started there. He's going to retire there. But I feel like the last 2 seasons, his body's been breaking down more and more.
That's why you have to make it more run-centric. Right. Something that they're trying to do in New Orleans, which is, again, something we'll discuss shortly once we get to New Orleans, but take a lot of pressure off Ben Roethlisberger.
Which he's going to need.
He won 2 Super Bowls on his own. If you want to win another one, you're probably going to need a good running game. Atlanta, a very busy team, signed linebacker Brooks Reed, linebacker Justin Durant, wide receiver Leonard Hankerson, linebacker O'Brien Schofield, defensive end Adrian Claiborne, cornerback Phillip Adams, guard Mike Person, and running back Antone Smith. Carolina cut D'Angelo Williams, obviously, re-signed defensive tackle Dwan Edwards and tight end Ed Dixon, and signed cornerback Teddy Williams. Not Ted Williams of the Boston Red Sox, Teddy Williams. I thought that was funny.
You know what, dude?
Apparently,
if they assigned Ted Williams with the Boston Red Sox...
Ted Williams' frozen head, you mean?
Yeah, that would be scary.
That'd be something.
That would be. Because he's been dead a long time.
New Orleans cut linebacker Curtis Lofton, cornerback Corey White, re-signed Mark Ingram, Ramon Humber, signed cornerback Brandon Browner, running back C.J. Spiller, who will probably be the Darren Sproles of that offense, and acquired linebacker Donnell Ellerbe. Now, real quick, before I run out of time here, I want to mention the reason that the Saints traded Jimmy Graham, traded Donnell Ellerbe, cut Curtis Lofton, traded Ben Grubbs, and are looking to trade more people is because not only are they trying to get under the cap, but they're trying to set themselves up for football post-Drew Brees.
True.
And how you do that is you get a strong running game, because I think they said last year Drew Brees was like 73 to 75% of the offense. Can't remember the exact number, but they want to decrease that.
He threw a ton.
Yeah, they want to decrease that. I mean, he's going to be on the team the next 2 years. He's got, I think, $26 and $27 million cap hits the next 2 years, so he's going to be there in New Orleans. But they want to shift over to, like in 2009 when they won the Super Bowl. I believe that's when they won the Super Bowl.
Yes.
They had one of the best running games in the league. You don't make Drew Brees do too much. Even the best of quarterbacks don't do too much because you're not going to win.
That's true.
That's just that. It is what it is. Tampa Bay cut tackle Anthony Collins, defensive tackle Michael Johnson, safety Deshaun Goldson. I don't think the Goldson move's official yet, but it's expected to happen. They are expected to sign safety Chris Conti. They signed defensive tackle Henry Melton and linebacker Bruce Carter. Houston cut wide receiver Andre Johnson, re-signed cornerback Kareem Jackson, signed quarterback Brian Hoyer, and safety Raheem Moore. The Indianapolis Colts signed guard Todd Hermans, running back Frank Gore, who passed on Philly after having an agreement with them, a verbal agreement. Wide receiver Andre Johnson is a Colt. San Diego reportedly was close to signing him. They apparently had a jet ready to take him from Indianapolis to San Diego to sign a deal.
Right.
Defensive tackle Kendall Langford is a Colt, and defensive end Trent Cole also a Colt. Indianapolis going big on age talent, but sometimes that's what you have to do to get over the hump.
But when you're trying to win, like soon and quickly. Sign some of those vets who you know.
Well, they're
are
all
good.
2 or 3 year deals, so it's not like it's the end of the world.
No.
But you're certainly putting the pressure on yourself to be good.
Yeah, that's true.
They re-signed cornerback Darius Butler, safety Mike Adams, offensive line Joe Reitz. Reitz? I don't know. Close enough. I apologize.
It's all good.
They cut running back Trent Richardson. Shockingly, cut Trent Richardson. He's a joke. He said that he said he was misused in Indianapolis. He said he's the next Marshawn Lynch. So get a job and prove it to us, because no one believes you.
Yeah, because you could have proved that in Indianapolis.
Yeah, exactly. Jacksonville cut defensive tackle Red Bryant, signed cornerback Devon House, linebacker Dan Skuda, tight end Julius Thomas, defensive lineman Jared Odrick, offensive tackle Jeremy Parnell. Tennessee re-signed punter Brent Kern, I don't know what my problem is. I'm having reading trouble. Outside linebacker Derek Morgan, kicker Ryan Suckup, defensive line Carl Klug. And they signed safety Denora Searcy, wide receiver Harry Douglas, linebacker Brian Arakpo, tight end Anthony Fasano. The New York Giants re-signed linebacker Mark Herzlich and fullback Henry Hynoski, signed linebacker Jonathan Casillas, running back Shane Vereen, wide receiver Dwayne Harris, right tackle Marshall Newhouse, linebacker J.T. Thomas. Now, moving over to the Philadelphia Eagles.
The Eagles.
I make a big point out of this one because a couple big deals happened this week. First off, cornerback Byron Maxwell, cornerback Walter Thurmond are Eagles. Running back Ryan Matthews is an Eagle. Running back and ex-Dallas Cowboy DeMarco Murray is an Eagle. He becomes the first leading rusher to switch teams in the offseason since Bill Dudley did it in 1947. The Cowboys stood strong and didn't want to pay him the money he wanted. He got $5.42. There was no way Dallas was paying that money.
No.
Philadelphia re-signed quarterback Mark Sanchez and defensive end Brandon Graham. And as we mentioned before, the Philadelphia Eagles traded quarterback Nick Foles to the St. Louis Rams for quarterback Sam Bradford. Now, Perez, before I ask your 2 cents on this topic, friend of the podcast, Eat Dat 445 is back.
He's back.
And better than ever.
Love it.
With some killer insight. Without further ado, analysis from EDP 445 on the Sam Bradford acquisition.
I'm looking forward to this.
What the Oh, hell no. Fire this fucking bitch. Chip Kelly, get the fuck out of Philly. I can't have this here no more. I just go on Twitter. I got word from my you're trading. What the What? Oh my God, this team is so dude. Chip Kelly. What the? Are you I don't understand this stupid motherfucker. I don't understand this shit, dog. Are you snorting that Tony Montana You're snorting the fuck out that shit, dude. You're murdering this goddamn team, dog. You're snorting the out of that goddamn coke. Motherfucker, I don't know what the is going on inside of your goddamn brain, but if you honestly think that trading Nick Foles to the Rams for that injury-prone piece of shit Sam Bradford is going to help this team, you got me up, for real. You got the whole goddamn Eagles fan base up. Your ass is tripping. You snorting that shit. How the does trading a guy like Nick Foles, okay? And I don't give a about anybody else. EDP, you're tripping. You're on some shit. I don't give a okay? You trade Foles to the Rams for Sam Bradford, that injury-prone piece of shit. And you think that's okay? Oh, Chip Kelly, you got me up, cuz.
I'll tell you what, that guy, no matter how mad he is, he has a point.
Yeah, once again, very, very insightful, very impactful.
If you can get around the censors, yes, you can really understand there's a message there.
You know what? No, I'll admit I was surprised to learn that he traded Nick Foles for Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford can't stay on the field, and according to this guy, we just call him EDP. EDP.
Yeah, I don't feel like editing it. That editing of that clip took me like 45 minutes because
not to be confused with DDP.
No,
that's an old wrestler in yoga. But EDP, according to him, Chip Kelly's apparently in love with that Coco. So that was
it's a good explanation
yes.
for why these crazy moves are happening.
Yeah, he's in love with that Coco. I don't know if you've heard that song.
I have heard that song. That's pretty.
You know, I find it weird
I'm
that
not sheltered.
I find it. Well, I don't know. You tend to listen to rock.
You think I'm white because I don't?
No, I think you're white because you were white.
Oh,
that's why I think you're right.
I was going to say, do you think I don't listen to that because I'm white? Because I do.
Yeah, that's not.
I was actually driving around a couple nights ago. It's actually pretty funny you mentioned that. I was driving around a couple nights ago and I pulled up next to a car at like 11:45 at night, and I had Kanye West so loud my
okay.
mirror, whatever the hell,
shaking.
My rearview mirror was vibrating,
right?
And I just slowly turned over and just look at him. They look very surprised when they saw me. I was going nuts.
Were you?
I was rapping
over Kanye West.
Oh, I love Kanye West.
Kanye West sucks.
I'm gonna smack you.
Good luck. You try.
I just censored myself.
I will say this: his music, his beats are good.
He's talented. He's a talented lyricist.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
No, not even a little bit.
He is.
I don't even have a 5-year-old niece, but if I did, she can rap better than Kanye.
You know what's funny is you hear the rappers like Young Jeezy rapping about like celery and fish sticks, and you got Kanye West. People don't like him because of the stuff he says. Listen to his music, man. It's good stuff.
I have listened to his music. It's garbage. It's garbage. The latest one where he's quote unquote singing, like that's more.
It's auto-tuned because that's the purpose.
It's complete auto. No, it's auto-tuned because he can't sing.
That's the purpose. Have you ever listened? You hear him singing. Auto-tunes everything.
Well, yeah, it's because he can't sing.
But it's his sound, dog.
Yeah, his sound sucks.
You can try to tell me Kanye West isn't good. I'll still listen to him and I'll tell everybody he's good. I don't care. I don't give a damn.
You don't give a damn?
Nope.
You don't give a damn?
I don't care. I don't care.
You don't care?
I don't. If it's got a good beat and I like the words.
Listen, I didn't say he doesn't have good beat. He's got good beats.
Yeah.
But his
like
lyrical capabilities suck.
I like listening to Kid Cudi. I like listening to
Kid Cudi's good.
Kanye West.
I like Kid Cudi.
I like to listen to Lupe Fiasco.
Lupe's good. Kendrick Lamar's really good.
I don't really listen to Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar's good. He's a little different, but he's good.
I heard the stuff he did with Eminem, which is really good.
Well, Eminem's awesome.
Well, yeah, that goes without saying.
Yeah, his new joint, Detroit versus Everybody, is awesome.
Royce da 5'9" is also really good.
Well, yeah, everyone.
There's also another.
Slaughterhouse is awesome.
I think the guy's name is the artist's name is Black Milk, I believe. Really good.
Yeah, I think it is Black Milk.
Really good artist.
I think that is correct.
Did a song with Royce da 5'9" called "Losing Out." Really good song. Really good song.
I like Yellow Wolf.
Haven't heard that song yet.
That's a white rapper.
This is how having a podcast is awesome.
Yeah. Yellow Wolf.
You mentioned one thing, you just go off on a tangent.
White dude from like Arkansas.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he's actually really good too.
I've never been to Arkansas.
I've been through it. I'm not going to stop.
At least you're honest.
I'll just play.
At least you're honest. I got a friend that might get a job in Arkansas, so.
Cool.
Baseball team.
But back to our original point, Kanye West sucks.
Shut up.
Just saying.
EDP, keep it coming. Every time something happens with the Eagles, you're going to have to remind me if I forget. I don't think I will forget, but if I do, remind me. We'll get his insight, because it looks like he's got some good insight on anything.
Yeah, that dude.
What's happening with your phone?
He's hilarious.
Your phone's going crazy.
He's hilarious.
Washington signs defensive tackle Pot Roast. Why did I say
what? Pot Roast?
His nickname is Pot Roast. I smacked myself in the face. Defensive tackle Terrence Knight, and his nickname is Pot Roast. Miami acquired wide receiver Kenny Stills from the New Orleans Saints in their cost-cutting effort, but that really wasn't a cost cut. Apparently, Kenny Stills did not get along with Drew Brees very well, and if you don't get along with Drew Brees,
you're out.
There's the door. They cut linebacker Philip Wheeler, defensive tackle Randy Starks, offensive guard Shelley Smith. They signed defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh, tight end Jordan Cameron, and cornerback Bryce McCain. The New England Patriots, last team before we shoot it to commercial break. Re-signed wide receiver Danny Amendola, a restructuring of the contract. Re-signed safety Devin McCourty and linebacker Chris White. They also signed linebacker / defensive end Jabal Sheard from the Cleveland Browns. I almost said the Cincinnati Bengals for some reason. What is my problem?
I don't know.
The Cleveland Football Browns.
You've been listening to too much Kanye West.
Cornerback Chimdi Chekwa.
You're probably going to pick up some of his ugly sneakers.
I can't do that.
Dude, his sneakers are ugly.
Did you see the video on the internet where he was dancing and someone set it to the Rugrats theme?
Yes.
Amazing.
That was pretty funny.
Amazing.
Because that really was the only, like, it matched with the Rugrats theme.
It was amazing.
Because he can't dance either.
It was amazing. Quarterback Chimdi Chekwa going to New England. Linebacker Jonathan Freeney going to New England as well. And we are going to commercial break.
Adios.
We'll see you back after this. More football talk coming in just a few minutes, but first, got to send it to commercial break. As I said, I keep repeating myself. I don't know why. It's the 34th episode of the Better Live Than Dead podcast. You figured I would understand how to do this by now, but apparently I don't know what I'm doing.
I think we're going to go to a commercial.
When we come back, got a new thing to introduce to you. It's called the 2015 GERE Guy. You want to know more? Stick around. After these commercial breaks, we'll tell you what it is. Here on the Better Live Than Dead podcast. Perez, I must ask you.
What ask me?
How did you do this year in fantasy football?
Man, I don't want to talk about it.
Well, guess what?
I don't want to talk about it, man.
I've got good news for you.
What?
FanDuel
allows
you to win all that money back that you lost.
That's good because I lost a lot of money
in fantasy football. But here's the catch.
What's the catch?
Fantasy hockey, fantasy basketball, 1 week leagues.
That doesn't sound like a catch to me.
You can win a lot of money.
I like that.
Just like you did with the fantasy football on FanDuel, you can win it with hockey, with basketball. Check it out, GearNetwork.com/FanDuel. You get the money on FanDuel. You help us out over at the Gear Network. We get money, you get money. Everybody's happy, and Perez is happy because he won all that money back.
I'll be real happy with that.
Fantasy football, which he lost because, well, Perez is really bad at fantasy football.
Oh, man, don't even talk about it.
1, 2, 3, and let's go out to the morning. Let's go out to the river. Take me in, bring us in. I don't remember what I have to do. And I've gone out to the strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
And with that blistering rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game, we are back here on the Better Live Than Dead podcast.
Poor Ozzy.
I assume he was quite
oh, dude, absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, he was still... When that first happened, he was still on drugs. He was still drinking.
Well, that was around the time too. I believe that his wife was essentially whoring him out so she could go spend all his money. He goes performs and she spends all his money.
No, not really.
Was that before? Or was that was kind of maybe before?
No, dude. His wife always cared about him. Like she's tried to clean him up forever.
Well, I know, but there was a time where he was touring around the world and he was completely unstable just to make money so they could all go spend the money. I think it was around the time of the Osbournes when they did that TV show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was all around that time because he was really drugged up during that TV show as well.
Yeah, he got clean, though, during the end of that TV show, which is good.
He's clean now, which is good.
He relapsed about 1.5 years ago.
Yeah,
for a brief time.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, he's clean again.
We usually talk baseball in this segment, but today we're going to talk about the 2015 GERE Guy. You can see it on GearNetwork.com under the Site Content tab. This year we're going to keep an eye on the Twins' third best prospect, Jose Barrios, pitcher out of Puerto Rico. According to Baseball America, he's the third best
Puerto
prospect.
Rico.
According to MLB.com, he's the 33rd best prospect in the minors. He was the first round pick in the 2012 draft, 32nd overall. He was the compensatory pick for Michael Kadire signing with the Colorado Rockies. He says his goal is to make the team out of camp, but he obviously will likely begin in the minors. There was some talk. John was telling me that he probably will start in Double-A with the Chattanooga Lookouts.
Look out.
But You can follow his road to Rochester and beyond with Better Live Than Dead and Get Ready America, GearNetwork.com, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. MLB.com has a scouting report. Says he has very good stuff. Low to mid 90s fastball. He has a change and a curve. Thing about him that I've read a lot, and I'm sure we'll hear more about. He's not afraid to challenge hitters.
Right.
And the interesting thing about him, he's only 6 foot tall.
That's not bad. I mean, that's
he's a smaller guy.
But
he has no problem. Like Paul Molitor, the head coach of the Minnesota Twins, or not the head coach. What the hell is my problem? The manager of the Minnesota Twins said, this guy's got it. He just obviously has to put it together and get everything to figure everything out. But there's something here with this kid. And I don't know about you, Perez. I love seeing prospects come up to Rochester and go to Minnesota.
Well, yeah, that's always nice, especially when they roll through your hometown.
So being able to follow a kid from AA to AAA to major leagues be a lot of fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
I mean, we're going to be out at some Red Wings games this year.
Absolutely.
The GERE Network, myself and Perez and John and Dawn. Maybe we can make something work between us and the Red Wings. Who knows?
I mean, it does look like he's got something here. When he began in High A Fort Myers, like he torched the Florida State leagues. He went 9-3 and had a 1.97 ERA in 16 starts. That's pretty good.
He made it to AAA last year. I mean, he only had one appearance in AAA last year, but I believe, he was overpowering guys in AA, and they're saying at the latest midseason he'll be in Rochester.
That'd be good to have him up here. We could, maybe sit down with him.
I would hope so. That'd be awesome. But you look at the prospect, and sometime soon I'll get a Twins guy on here to talk prospects, talk about guys in Rochester, because there's a lot of prospects in the system.
Right.
A lot of guys that are going to be coming up through Rochester sometime soon. Guys like Byron Buxton, Miguel Sano, as I've mentioned before, Jose Barrios. They just had the guy that drafted, Cole Stewart. He'll be coming up shortly. So there's a lot of guys you're going to be seeing coming through Rochester that are going to be heading up to Minnesota. That's the one thing about when the parent club is bad, they get high picks.
Right.
And very good talent comes through the pipeline, so you get to see these kids. It's something Rochester hasn't had for a while.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be able to put it together and keep moving up. But hey, if he happens to listen to this, you're coming to Rochester, New York, where there's a lot of Puerto Ricans, so you'll feel right at home here.
I'm sure if we ever get to meet him, I'm sure you two will hit it off.
Except for the cold weather,
he'll see the necklace and he'll know.
Absolutely.
He'll know he's in good company.
Yep.
We'll take good care of him. He pitched on March 8th, 3 innings. 3 innings pitch against Baltimore, 3 hits, one unearned run, 2 strikeouts. And then he pitched on Friday the 13th versus Pittsburgh. 3 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs, 2 strikeouts.
That's pretty good.
So
it's not bad.
They said they might keep him around because obviously he's not going to make the team out of camp, they don't think. But They said they might keep him around a little longer to get the big league locker room experience, to be with the guys, to get the better coaching, to get the more hands-on coaching. Right. They're very high in this kid. And we are too. I mean, John discussed it with me, and I'm on board from the word go. It's a lot of fun, and if it works out this year, maybe it's something we can do in the future again.
That'd be fun.
It's always fun. Gives us something to talk about. Baseball's coming up. Actually, Perez, before you showed up today, I was about to buy MLB TV.
Nothing wrong with that.
Gotta watch them Boston Red Sox.
Yeah. Well,
plus every other game. You know what? When the Red Sox play at 7:00 or the Red Sox aren't playing, there's nothing better than turning on San Diego Padres game, especially this year with the talent they have.
Right.
Or turning on a Dodgers game, listening to Vince Scully. That's always
fun.
Always a treat.
That's always fun.
But like I said, keep locked here to Better Live Than Dead or Get Ready America, GearNetwork.com. We've got some information on Jose Barrios on the website, as well as a link to his career stats, his updated stats. But obviously every week we're going to keep you posted on the latest and greatest of what he's doing or what has happened. Sometime soon we'll have a Twins guy on to discuss Jose as well as other Minnesota Twins prospects.
Awesome.
Keep you posted. It's Rochester. We got to keep you posted. Even if, the Yankees are the big team in the area, we'll talk Twins because there's always local ties.
Absolutely.
Seems to be wherever you go in this country, there's ties to Rochester, some way, shape, or form.
That's true.
Western New York ties. Everyone has a Western New York tie somehow.
That's not a lie.
It's amazing. For as cold and miserable as it is here most of the year, people always seem to love this place. You mentioned Rochester, everybody loves it.
Or they go,
Oh, Rochester. I remember Rochester. Oh, I remember
sorry.
Buffalo.
You live in that, like, snow-infested...
It's great because, it's only cold a handful of months of the year, and then the rest of the year it's pretty nice here.
You're kidding, right?
No, I'm serious. I must be drinking the frozen
It's only
Kool-Aid.
pretty nice a couple of months out of the year, and then for the rest of the year, it's pretty darn cold.
From like April to October, it's nice here.
Dude, listen. You've lost your mind.
I probably
It
have.
still snows in April sometimes.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful in April, man.
Dude.
It was 45 degrees a couple days ago. I was wearing shorts.
We have like 3 months of good weather here.
That's just the
Possibly 4.
You're just a Debbie Downer.
I'm just saying.
You're
like
just a Perez,
possibly
Debbie Downer.
4. The last couple of years, the cold weather has started early and stayed late.
I don't mind. It's global warming, dog.
Whatever. That global warming's, whatever.
It's the truth.
That's
why it's so much colder.
It's overplayed.
No, it's not. It's
it is.
Science. Go look at the science books, man.
It's overplayed.
Global warming is for real. Like NWO, it's for real.
It's happened before.
For life.
It's just the cycle that this planet is on.
Yeah, it's cold. That being said, you can also follow Jose on Twitter. I don't have a Twitter handle offhand, but hey, go to GearNetwork.com. Under site content, click on 2015 Gear Guy. There is a follow button right there. You can give him a follow on Twitter. He's very active on Twitter, which I've noticed.
I feel like we should come up with a better name of Gear Guy.
Talk to John about that one.
I'm just saying.
He came up with it. What do you think?
He's not a gearhead. Like, you say Gear Guy, I think like mechanic. Like, I get it with the Gear Radio Network.
Maybe he's a mechanic.
Maybe, possibly.
I didn't ask him.
I don't know if I'm down with Gear Guy.
Well, come up with something.
It's like Beer Guy.
I'm
down with a beer guy.
I'm a beer guy, yeah.
I'm down with a beer guy, but I don't know.
Like
Gear Guy just sounds weird.
Are you a Paul Heyman guy?
I like Paul Heyman.
I'm a Paul Heyman guy.
His speech on Monday was awesome.
I didn't.
I'm not going to lie.
I heard it was good.
It was
I
really
haven't watched
good.
wrestling in like 6 months.
You know what? I haven't watched the WWE as much.
Yeah.
I've been watching Lucha Underground and El Rey. Lucha Underground is bloody freaking awesome.
Guess what? Rey Mysterio and Alberto Del Rio were there, I believe.
No, I haven't seen them.
They signed with one of them.
I've been watching it every week. They might be showing up later.
Maybe.
But
I'll look that up during the commercial break.
Alberto Del Rio's there, yes.
I think Rey Mysterio just signed with them.
But he's no longer Alberto Del Rio.
No, he's something
He's
else.
El Patron. He's Alberto El Patron.
Alberto Del Rio.
Which means the boss. But
that's a good name then.
But it's like I'm El Jefe, which also means the boss. But El Patron's just another way of saying.
What's my nickname?
White guy.
What's that? What's that in Spanish?
Bronco. I think that's what I'm going to call you. I think I'm going to call you El Bronco, the white.
Sounds good.
El Bronco Hombre.
That sounds pretty badass.
I like it.
Best part is people are like, that guy's serious. And it's just like, that's the white guy.
That's the right guy, friend.
It sounds, but it sounds pretty legit.
El Bronco Chico.
It sounds legit.
I like it. I think that's what we're going to start calling you.
Sounds good.
All right.
Gonna shoot at the commercial break now. When we come back, we're gonna backtrack a little. Perez has got to say hello to someone. Plus, he wants to talk some football. Some interesting things about the National Football League. Before we talk important free agency, he wants to mention some things. So, we'll be back. Short commercial break. Talk about some people. Talk about some football on the Better Live Than Dead podcast.
That's right.
Hey, Don, how's it going?
Living the dream. I'm actually just getting ready to do this commercial.
Oh, you mean the commercial where I tell our listeners to tune into Gear Network every week to listen to our show, Get Ready America, that one?
Yeah, John, that's the one.
They can also listen to us talk about news, sports, whatever's on our minds, that...
And a little what's on our listeners' minds, but they're just too nice to say it.
Well, that, Don, is a real humdinger. Come join us this and every week for Get Ready America exclusively on the Gear Radio Network.
And the Gear Network app.
Hey, welcome back to the Better Live Than Dead. It is that time of the podcast.
Time of the week to say hello to some people.
Where we say hello to someone special.
Who are you saying hello to this week?
Or not special.
Who are you saying hello to?
I'm saying hello to Jerry Garcia. I know a lot of you people may not know who Jandy Garcia is.
A quick Instagram search will solve that problem for you.
That's true. Just look up Jandy Garcia. She is the daughter of one of the best cigar makers on the planet, Don Pepe Garcia. She is heavily involved in the family business. She recently blended her first blend through My Father Cigars called La Duena, and it is a phenomenal cigar. She is currently engaged to Pete Johnson, the owner of Tatuaje Cigars. I believe they're engaged. I know they're at least dating. But as well as being an awesome blender of cigars and being involved in the family business, she's also very attractive. So today,
that's also a plus.
Oh, always a plus. She smokes cigars. She's pretty. Like, nothing wrong with that. You know what, though? I gotta be honest with you. Several of the cigar manufacturers who follow me, their daughters also follow me, and like several of these dudes' daughters are hot.
I guess I gotta get in the cigar business.
So, dude, like, if I was a single dude, I'd be tracking down some of these people. Like, I want to be in the cigar business, and if I have to do that, like, through your daughter, I'm gonna be flirting with her. And they'll be like, Lewis, you're a scumbag, don't do that. And I'll be like, oh, I'm taking her out to dinner tonight. But, so yeah. Hello to Jandy Garcia.
Probably a good thing your wife doesn't listen to this podcast.
Probably. Well, I said if I was a single dude. I didn't say if I was married. I would never do that. See, like, I think I told you this once before.
Yeah.
Like, I would obviously never cheat on my wife.
Absolutely.
Never. But if I did, I'm not scared of my wife.
If I did it, this is how I would do it.
I'm scared of my mother.
Oh, God.
Dude, my parents love my wife. Like, my mom loves my wife. And if I cheated on my wife, my mom would probably defenestrate me. Which, for those of you who don't know that word, that means throw through a window. Yeah, my mom would probably kill me. So, I'm more scared of my mom's than I am of anyone else if I ever cheated on my wife. Which, obviously, I would never do. I adore my wife. I love my wife. So...
I still haven't met your wife.
We'll have to take care of that. I was having a bad day yesterday. Well, the day started out kind of rough. Okay. I'm as many of you know, I'm a big cigar guy. I'm a rum guy. I'm a Scotch guy. I'm a bourbon guy. I like liquor. I do like that, by the way. But so Angel's Envy bourbon is one of the top rated bourbons on the market right now. They've released a very limited edition rye, which is, I bought a bottle a couple weeks ago, and the store I bought it from had 2 bottles, and they were basically the last 2 bottles in upstate New York. So I bought one of the last bottles of upstate New York. I was near it yesterday, the liquor store that had it, and I was having a bad day. She was like, you know what? Why don't you go buy yourself that second bottle if they still have it? And so I walked into the liquor store, they still had it, so I bought it. And that, that started to turn my day around right there. So my wife was cool like that.
She knows you real well.
Yeah, so I bought the last 2 bottles of this stuff in upstate New York.
You drink them both?
So, no, one of the bottles is half gone. It'll probably be fully gone by the end of today. The other bottle I'm just going to hold on to. This stuff is phenomenally delicious.
I got to tell you too. Last week I talked on a podcast about getting beer. I had a friend from college tell me to try Blue Point Toasted Lager.
Right.
It's phenomenal.
I'm about to check that out. I don't think I've had that one.
I actually just picked some up last night.
Did you?
It's so good.
Is it cold?
It's smooth. Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah?
It's cold.
Bring out a bottle. What's up? I'm just playing. I'll have one right now. I don't care.
It's delicious, yeah.
But yeah.
And then the cherry wheat that you suggested via text.
Cherry wheat's delicious. Dude, you gotta grab the blackberry whip beer if you can find it.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Well, the thing is, I'm trying to expand my horizon because I love Blue Light.
Right.
But I've learned.
Yeah, you need to expand your horizons.
Lately, Blue Light has made me feel like a helium balloon when I drink it. I don't like that.
Well, I used to make fun of Samino all the time because he used to drink Coors Light.
Well, Coors Light is urine,
and I was like, "Why? You just might as well drink just water."
It's
like,
cold. It's cold pee.
But now he's all about that Red's Apple Ale, which a lot of people are.
Tony is too.
I can't stand it.
I'm not a fan.
I do not like it.
The only way I like apples is if it's applesauce.
Applesauce is good, or apples.
I like apples, but
or Angry Orchard.
I don't like to.
I like a hard cider.
I don't like to eat the skin of the apple. Is that
really
weird?
That is weird.
It's just I have trouble with consistency sometimes. Like if consistency.
Well, that's how I used to feel about sushi. Like I can't eat raw sushi because I don't like the texture or the consistency.
That's what happens to me.
I'm okay with cooked sushi.
I have a problem if something's like weird and it makes me want to throw up.
Well, I don't really have that issue.
I don't know, I'm just weird.
Well, yeah, we know that.
I'm a white guy. That's what white people are weird, right?
So hello to Gianni Garcia and Canada. Hi, Canada.
Hi, Canada. Should I hit the bumper?
Hit the bumper. Story time, peoples.
Gather round, kids. It's story time with Mr. Perez.
All right, so a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about how people are complaining that the NFL is a tax-exempt league.
They say that they're not for profit, but they make
not-for-profit
ridiculous amount of cash.
Yes. So I figured what I would do is I would look up the information for you and explain to you exactly why the NFL is considered not-for-profit. So as you know, the National Football League is a non-for-profit organization, and you're right, it may seem absurd that a collection of teams that generate at least $14 billion in revenue last season would be given tax-exempt status. But the NFL is technically what's classified as a 501c6 organization, and that is classified by the IRS as tax-exempt status, and this is why. I'm going to read to you the code. So the Internal Revenue Code of 5016C, in Section 501c6, provides for the exception of business leagues, chambers of commerce, real estate boards, boards of trade, and professional football leagues, which are not organized for profit and no part of the net earnings of which inures to the benefit of any private shareholder or individual. Now, it's obviously notable that the only professional football leagues are included in that code, as opposed to all sporting leagues. That's why the NFL is considered non-for-profit, while people like the NBA, MLB, they're not. So, you look like you about to say something.
I'm just listening to you.
Okay, so the exception for football stems from lobbying efforts by Pete Rozelle in the 1960s to earn an antitrust exemption for the merger of the NFL and the AFL. So the antitrust and tax exceptions were cleverly attached to an uncontroversial 1966 bill to suspend the investment credit and the allowance of accelerated depreciation in the case of certain real property. So the NFL and AFL merger language was included at the end of the bill that had nothing else to do with football. So what the IRS back then was saying was a business league is an association of persons having some common business interest, the purpose of which is to promote such common interest and to not engage in regular business of a kind ordinarily carried on for profit. Trade associations and professional associations are business leagues. To be exempt, a business league's activity must be devoted to improving business conditions of one or more lines of business or distinguished from performing particular services for individual persons. No part of a business league's net earning may inure to the benefit of any private shareholder or individual, and it may not be organized for profit to engage in the activity ordinarily carried on for profit, even if the business is operated on a cooperative basis or produces only enough income to be self-sustaining. The term line of business generally refers to either the entire industry or to all components of an industry within a geographic area. It does not include a group composed of businesses that market a particular brand within an industry. So it may seem weird to you guys listening that the NFL is not engaging in a regular business of a kind ordinary carried on for profit. How are the efforts to maximize profit any different than those of Major League Baseball, the National Basketball Association, or the National Hockey League? As far as the NFL's net earnings, the non-profit was actually in the red in 2009, according to the latest available return. This is all by the way, public knowledge. You can log on to verify this information because all these type of organizations have to report everything. So virtually all the leagues, $192.3 million in revenue in 2009 came from membership dues and assessments. And that is where it makes it non-profit. So the actual NFL itself, the oversight board, is considered non-for-profit.
Yeah, isn't it? Doesn't it go down to something like the NFL's like a club?
Yeah, the NFL sells licenses to use NFL intellectual property, broadcast games, etc. And that right there is where they make the bulk of their money. All of the teams themselves are for-profit, but the NFL itself is non-for-profit.
It seems like a slimy way to do things, but if it works...
But hey, it works.
Exactly.
It works.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Gonna send it to commercial.
Hope that cleared that up for you peoples.
I hope so.
Hi, Janny Garcia.
Hi. The NFL, slimy as all ever. They will always be slimy, I believe. But
we still watch it.
Speaking of the slimy NFL...
We'll be right back.
When we come back, going to talk the Jets, the Bills, and the Cowboys. And ask Perez some questions about what he thought about the free agent period so far. Stick around. More of the Better Live Than Dead podcast next.
Don't believe me, just watch.
Hi, Gear Network listeners. The song of the month was selected by Better Live Than Dead's Ryan Wolf. It is Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson featuring Bruno Mars. And if you like this song, you can purchase it through our Gear Network link from both Amazon and iTunes. Right now, if you head to GearNetwork.com, you can sign up for a free 30-day trial of Amazon Prime, which includes Prime Music. You'll be able to listen to this and other songs from Amazon Music's vast collection of songs as often as you would like. Or if you just want to download the song, you can purchase it for $1.29 on both Amazon and iTunes right from our website. Your purchase continues to support our free program. Remember, that is GearNetwork.com, powered by Amazon and iTunes.
Do you enjoy listening to Better Live Than Dead, but you're not always by your laptop to hear it on GearNetwork.com? Not to worry, we've got you covered. Better Live Than Dead and all other Gear Network podcasts can now be heard on iHeartRadio, iTunes, in the Zune Marketplace, on SoundCloud, Spreaker, Stitcher Radio, and on TuneIn Radio. So make sure you get one of the aforementioned apps to stay up to date with the latest Gear Network podcasts.
All I really want is something beautiful to say. All I really want is something beautiful to say.
Hello, podcast people.
I got to sneeze.
Hello, podcast people. Bless you. Bless you. I'm waiting for it. Waiting for the last one.
I think I'm good.
2. Bless you.
Too small for me. Normally I do like 14 sneezes in a row. I feel like I'm going to die. It's ridiculous.
Back here, Better Live Than Dead podcast. Ryan Wolf.
Hello, peoples.
Mr. Perez.
What's up?
Canada.
Hi, Canada.
Football fans.
Hey, you know what? We're talking about the GERE Guy. You got to change that name. Just don't like the way it rolls off the tongue. But he's Puerto Rican. I'm Puerto Rican. Hello, Puerto Rico.
Hello, Puerto Rico. Maybe we got some Puerto Rican people.
That's a very real possibility. I know we do.
The craziest things happen on the internet. Like the website I write for, Sabres Hockey Central.
Right.
I was doing stuff with the trade deadline, and I go check out websites and stuff. I had some hits from Australia, some from Latvia, some from like Sweden and Scotland.
Right.
How does that happen?
Hello to all those places.
The world is a beautiful place. Speaking of things that are beautiful, the Jets are not. The Jets are doing something. They're doing something.
They're trying to make themselves beautiful.
They're doing something. I don't know what, but they sign. First off, they re-sign right guard Willie Colon.
Yes.
They cut Percy Harvin, who is they'll send a 6th-round pick to Seattle in 2015 for that deal. They acquired quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick, who under Chan Gailey, when Chan Gailey was the Bills' head coach, he was okay. He was good until he signed that contract extension when he did get off the map. Also, they signed cornerback Buster Skrine.
Bust the Skrine.
Skrine.
I was going to say Buster Rhymes, but that's a rapper.
They got Buster.
Bust
cornerback Darrelle Revis.
Yes.
Stupid. amount of money they gave him.
And that's why he went back.
Well, it was the worst kept secret in football, I believe.
Yeah.
Cornerback Antonio Cromartie and safety Marcus Gilchrist. Now, excuse me. To Patriots fans out there who are mad about Darrelle Revis going back to New York, let me break it down to you. Break it down for you in one simple statement.
Money.
The New England Patriots got what they wanted from Darrelle Revis. A shutdown cornerback.
Yes.
A guy who could make their defense better.
Darrelle
Revis got what he wanted from the Patriots. A Super Bowl ring.
Right.
Everybody got what they wanted.
Exactly.
He goes back and takes the money.
Right.
Where he's going to get, it breaks down to $1 million a game.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think it's going to work out that way, but at the end of the contract, he'll have played 48 games for $48 million.
It's not a bad
40 guaranteed.
Not a bad gig if you can get it.
Not a bad gig at all. The Jets are getting better, yes, but...
You know what? I actually think this improves the Jets. I think they may win maybe, 4 games next year.
Almost did a spit take there.
No, I think this makes them a plus 500 team. I don't think it's going to get them as far as they want to go at this point.
I think what will happen is they'll win 7 or 8 games.
That's what I was going to say, about 7 or 8 games.
The defense is better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not good, it's better. The offense is the offense.
I don't really think Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to get you to...
He's a game manager.
Yeah, but and while he's decent, I don't think he's going to get you to, the holy land, so to speak,
but then you look
of the
at
football world.
A team, the like what the Bills are doing. The Bills are doing exactly what the Jets are. But the Bills are 10 steps ahead because the Bills already have the top 3 defense.
Well, I can see the Bills winning 10, 11 games next year. I hate to say that about the Bills, but I can see them winning 10 or 11 games. There will be one game they're not going to win, and that will be when the Cowboys roll into town. But other than that, I can see them winning 10 or 11 games.
Tony Romo will throw 3 picks against the Bills.
Dude, Tony Romo's going to torch them.
Okay. We'll see.
Torch.
The Buffalo Bills signed fullback Jerome Felton, one of the best in the game. He was the fullback for Adrian Peterson when Peterson rushed for 2,000 yards. They signed quarterback Tyrod Taylor, who will likely be the number 3.
Yep.
And wide receiver Percy Harvin.
Yeah.
1 year, $6 million deal. A prove-it kind of deal where he has to come in and prove his worth to not only the Bills but every other NFL team. Because if it doesn't work out, I don't think it's his last contract, but his next contract will be a lot less cheaper than $6 million.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to take a look at the troubles he's had. I mean,
he's got a lot of attitude. He needs a strong leadership around him.
He needs to chill. That's what he needs to do.
Yeah.
He needs to realize that you're not the greatest out there.
A lot of people say if he has a problem, if he's not the number 1, then he's nothing at all. Either he's the top target or he's not going to be.
Yeah, you're not Keyshawn Johnson. You're not throw me the ball, man. Where you write a book after like your second season. What?
He's not a prototypical wide receiver. I mean, you put him in the slot, which is probably what's going to happen in Buffalo because you got Robert Woods on the left, Sammy Watkins on the right. You put Harvin in the slot. That makes your offense just a little bit harder.
Yeah, I got some bad news for you, Percy. You're not as good as Watkins.
No, you're. I don't even know if you're as good as if in terms of being an actual wide receiver. I don't think you're as good as Robert Woods.
No,
I mean he's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of intangibles, but
he does strengthen that wide receiver core.
The thing about Harvin though. With the quarterback situation of Matt Castle and E.J. Manuel, you throw a lot of short passes.
Oh, that'll help.
To guys who can make things happen in open space. That's what Harvin does.
Yes.
Harvin can run fast. He can make things happen. You throw him a 10-yard route, you may turn it to 40 or 50 yards.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of small ball from the Bills.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of ground and pound, short passes.
Absolutely.
Dink and dunk offense. But if it works, it works. They acquired, obviously, the Matt Castle deal is official. It's notable for the podcast because there was a report of a broken foot from Castle, but the Bills obviously felt comfortable enough passing him, so the deal's official.
Right.
We heard some rumors of the snags that the deal wasn't going to happen, but people said, that's preposterous.
Right.
The Buffalo Bills re-signed LaShawn McCoy to a restructured contract. They re-signed defensive tackle Kyle Williams to a restructured contract. Kicker Jordan Gay, defensive end Jerry Hughes, wide receiver Marcus Easley, defensive end Jerry Swin, all re-signed as well. Easley, one of the best... follow me on this one, Perez. Easley is easily one of the best special teamers in the league.
I bet you thought you were clever.
Ha ha ha! I'll be here all week. Jerry Hughes gets a big deal.
Don't forget to tip your waiter.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best deals I think you'll ever see made. One of the most lopsided deals you'll see made in a long time. When the Buffalo Bills acquired Jerry Hughes for Kelvin Shepard, linebacker, who is now in Miami.
Right.
Yeah, that was, I believe, if Indianapolis knew what to do to make Jerry Hughes,
right,
probably would want him back.
Probably.
He was one of the most sought-after defensive ends, and Buffalo picked him up before he could get out of town. And Buffalo cut tight end Scott Chandler.
I was surprised by that move.
I honestly, being a Bills fan, he's a pass catcher. He's not a blocker. They need a tight end who's a blocker, which is why they were going after Charles Clay, which I'll talk about in a second.
Right.
He has a tendency to drop a lot of passes. He's got some speed, but he's got some concrete boots.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's been tough to watch. He's in this offense. I don't think he fits. I think he's too slow for the offense. That's just me, though. But he signed to New England with the Patriots, which will be a very good depth option for them at tight end.
That's true.
The Buffalo Bills are, as I mentioned, going after Charles Clay. They still have yet to sign him to an offer sheet. He's got the transition tag where Miami has the option to match any deal Buffalo or any team signs him to.
Right.
But they've opened up cap space with the deal with getting rid of Mike Wallace, as well as cutting a couple other guys.
Right.
So they'll probably be able to match it. But there's, I believe it's Clive Walford out of University of Miami, a guy the Buffalo Bills are very interested in. Another tight end that they could possibly pick up. So keep an eye out for the tight end position, because that's really all that needs to be
filled up
on the Buffalo Bills right now. Real quick note on the Jets, too. They're apparently being investigated for tampering.
Really?
Darrelle Revis.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't see that.
They had some NFL people go down and monitor the negotiations between Revis and his agents and the Jets, because they feel like the deal, they may have talked to the Jets, or the Jets may have talked to him before he was a free agent. So
okay.
You might get a fine or a loss of a draft pick out of that one. But
awesome.
They got Darrelle Revis, so they don't give a damn.
Yeah, right.
But then again, you see a deal like this not blown up, but then the Patriots do something that gets blown up. It's just all pissing into the wind. DeMarco Murray,
which is not a good idea. People don't do it.
Bad idea. It also tastes really bad too. DeMarco Murray not re-signed by the Dallas Cowboys. Perez, I'll just get your thoughts now. What do you think about this?
You know what? Listen, I think DeMarco said what everyone ever says when it's about the money. He said it's not about the money. It's about winning the Super Bowl. And he feels that he's gone to a team that can get him there quicker. If that was the case, you would have stayed with the Cowboys. Because the Cowboys are pretty set up right now. So I think he took the money and ran. Yeah, I know Sam Bradford was his roommate in college, I think it was. So I get wanting to play possibly with a good friend of yours. But at the same token, I don't believe you've gone to a team that's going to help you reach your goal quicker.
Well, I guess we don't know. It's hard for me to say that. I mean, you could say it's hard for me to say that because I don't know what the Eagles are doing.
I don't think the Eagles know what they're doing.
They're doing something.
They've got a lot of Oregon Ducks on their team. They're going to have to replace
I feel like they're going to just their offense is just going to be going 100 miles an hour every game.
Right, and that's what he wants. I get that. It wears out defenses. But last year, even though it wore out defenses, you didn't make the playoffs. So,
well, that's what he said this offseason. He goes, "We didn't make we want to be better. How do we get better?"
I don't know if DeMarco Murray.
I think DeMarco Murray and Ryan Matthews together make you a good team, because you're not gonna. Because DeMarco Murray probably is gonna have a little bit of a drop off, because the Cowboys, as we mentioned in the podcast last year, they ran him into the ground.
Right.
They knew what they were. They knew they probably weren't going to re-sign him.
Right.
Because the money he was going to want was too much. Get what you can out of him.
Yeah, and they did.
And they did.
And I don't know if DeMarco Murray's body will be able to keep up with that pace. But they just signed 2 other running backs, so that I think they know that. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't think you're going to see much different from them next year. That's just my opinion.
They may not be done.
No.
They may be doing more at the draft.
Oh, it's possible. We'll see. I don't think Sam Bradford's body breaks down.
He's got a bad knee.
Yeah, and you're going to be running an offense that runs.
It's a 1-year deal.
True.
$13 million left on his contract.
It's not bad for 1 year, $13 million.
No, and if it works out, you re-sign him. If it doesn't work out, he's gone.
It'll be interesting to see
there's
what
also
happens.
a lot of talk that Chip Kelly said that they've been offered first-round picks for him.
Right.
So they still might move up. Until another franchise drafts Marcus Mariota, I still believe the Eagles are going to try to get him.
The Eagles, yeah, but the Eagles aren't high enough in the draft to get Marcus Mariota.
Crazier things have happened though. They could make a trade to trade a guy to get a pick, to get multiple picks, to trade down. Who knows?
That's true.
Or trade up. Sorry.
Did that just be another Oregon Duck that Chip
But it's
Kelly
his
has.
guy. But it's his guy.
Yeah, but I feel like Philly's going to have to change their logo soon. Like, you're going to have to move it from an eagle to a duck.
Maybe.
You might as well call yourselves the Oregon Ducks Part D.
Eagle duck. Eagle duck.
So, it's ridiculous.
The other thing I want to mention, the Cowboys signed linebacker Jasper Brinkley. And what are your thoughts on the signing of Arkansas running back? Jerry Jones' favorite college, Arkansas.
He does like himself some Arkansas.
Darren McFadden.
I don't. It's an okay sign. I don't think Darren McFadden is going to replace DeMarco Murray anywhere close to it.
I don't think. Sorry to interrupt you. I don't think he's going to replace DeMarco Murray's carries. I think he replaces a chunk of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He'll replace a chunk.
The other chunk will be replaced by
draft pick
Melvin Gordon.
I
just have a feeling Dallas is really high on him.
Oh, I think they are too. But I think there's a couple running backs in the draft that they've been looking at that I think they're looking to possibly get also. Yeah. So I believe letting DeMarco Murray go in the Dallas part is a calculated risk, but with the talent coming out this year, not that much of a calculated risk. You got to remember, running backs are that one position where you have a shelf life.
It's a dime a dozen at this point.
That's true.
You can get a guy in the 5th round and
he'll be good. But
he should be.
They also have a shelf life.
The one thing to point out too that I kept reading multiple places, this deal shows Jerry Jones' son's imprint on the team.
True.
Because back in the day, Jerry Jones would go, "This is my guy. I want my guy. Here's a blank check." And Stephen Jones, patient, let the market develop, said, "We'll have you back at our price.
Right.
If you don't want to come back,
adios. We'll
take the compensatory pick and
I get it.
Let you walk."
Yeah, I get it. And it's about time Jerry let some other people make some moves too.
Maybe Darren McFadden has a career resurgence, because you have to remember too, the thing about the Dallas Cowboys, they have one of the best, if not the best, offensive lines in the league.
Oh, absolutely.
So you can put Darren McFadden behind that line. If he stays healthy, you get 1,200 yards.
That's a very real possibility.
Maybe
it's a very real possibility.
I mean, there's still a few free agents out there, but
I just don't feel he's as strong as DeMarco was. Like, DeMarco would just run people over.
Well, yeah, I mean, McFadden is shifty, but what did his time in Oakland do to his game?
Right.
Because he was injured and worn down. So
we'll see.
He did have a year where he was really good, and then he had a couple years where he was injured and not so good. So
we'll see.
We'll see how that one works out. Do you have any winners or any big winners? Not really losers, because it's hard to sit here and say, well, yeah, they were stupid. Because you'd probably just say the Oakland Raiders.
You know what?
If we say the Oakland Raiders lost free agency, we're probably right, so we'll just say that. But who do you think won free agency?
I think the Colts might have won free agency. The Colts made some really good moves, made themselves a much better team. The Seahawks, they didn't make a lot of moves, but the moves they did make really helped shore up their offense. They might make a 3rd Super Bowl in a row.
I like what Indianapolis did. I mean, it's kind of shown what the new GM Ryan Grigson has done there. Is he's spent, I believe that's the GM there. He spent large amounts of money on free agents, and sometimes it doesn't work out. But you're taking a shot. I mean, the offense is getting better. They got a guard, Frank Gore, Andre Johnson. The defense is better. They've got Kendall Langford and Trent.
Right. I'm calling my shot right now. Next year's NFC Championship game. Seahawks against Cowboys.
I think next year's AFC title game will be the Colts versus maybe New England. Maybe. I think. I'll say Indianapolis and New England, but I think Indy's got as good of a shot as anybody to go to the Super Bowl next year.
Indy's made some good moves. They're looking tight.
Andrew Luck is getting better every year, and that's all that matters.
He's an awesome quarterback. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
The Andre Johnson move essentially was trading Andre Johnson or Reggie Wayne for Andre Johnson.
Right.
It's a push. But at running back, you're turning Trent Richardson into Frank Gore. Yes, Frank Gore's older, but Frank Gore's Frank Gore.
Right. That's a much better move.
He's a downhill runner.
Right.
So we'll see what happens with that. But I am tired from talking about a lot of football. Hopefully the Buffalo Bills are a better football team next year. I want to go to the playoffs.
Oh, playoffs? I don't know about playoffs. I do. Well, maybe.
Here's the deal. Here's the one thing I was telling people recently. It all depends on how the other divisions play out because yes, the Bills can win. They can go 500 in their division.
Right.
And I mean, they would. Well, you could probably go 500. Have to win maybe 4 or 5 games in your division because they could beat the Jets twice. They could beat Miami twice, maybe New England once. But I'm not going to sit here and predict. I'm just saying, like last year, the Bills had a good chance at the playoffs. But because the AFC North played the NFC South, the NFC South was atrocious, all 4 of those teams are in the playoff hunt.
Right.
With 2 or 3 weeks left in the season.
Right.
So it's as much as who you play and how well you play as much as how other people play and who plays good against who.
That's true. So we'll see.
I mean, but the best way to control your destiny, win football games. So, going to wrap this segment up, send it to commercial break. When we get back, we'll wrap the podcast up, send things home, and I don't know. Talk more about stuff.
Awesome.
Podcast. Be back. Bye.
A successful product does not become a successful product on its own. Look at the GERE Radio Network, for example. We're a prime example. We had a lot of help getting here, and we can help you get where you want to go to. Advertising rates are very low to start off here on the GERE Radio Network. Visit us at GearNetwork.com. Click on the contact link to send us an email, and we can work out the details. Again, advertise your product across all of the forums at a low rate here on the GERE Radio Network.
This free and independent sportscast is made possible when you shop the GERE Network store through Amazon. Visit GearNetwork.com and click on the Amazon banner to shop through Amazon's thousands of products at great prices delivered right to your front door. Again, that's GearNetwork.com and click the Amazon banner at the top.
Back here for the closing segment of the Better Live Than Dead podcast, episode number 34.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Did you happen to see this week the Jeopardy game where 2 people ended up negative money and there was only 1 person in the final round?
I didn't see the 1 person in the final round.
Oh, yeah, dude, she looks lonely right there.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
so you
man.
just guess the answer and bet no money and you win automatically?
Pretty much, bro.
That's important. That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
That's quite humorous to me.
I was going to say 34 reminds me of David Ortiz, Big Papi. Gets me excited for baseball. Nothing?
No.
Kind of look a little pissy over there.
No, listen, I love baseball. So,
want to mention real quick, coming up on Sunday, Selection Sunday for the NCAA basketball tournament. We'll talk some about that next week. I'm sure there'll be more football moves to talk about. Baseball, as we mentioned, coming up. We'll have more updates on the 2015 GERE Guy, Jose Barrios. And anything else that breaks in the sports world, for sure.
We're all about sports.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to Canada.
Hi, Canada.
Hi, Canada. Thank you.
Hello to Janny Garcia.
Hello. We want to say, as usual, you can't stay. You don't got to go home, but you can't stay here.
Well, you know what? Before we go,
we still got some time. I just wanted to mention that.
Before we go, I do want to say something real quick.
The floor is yours.
The last year, we saw gas prices slowly start to tumble. They got down to pretty manageable prices. The last couple of weeks, they've started to inch back up a little bit. Okay? So now, the leader of the free world, our president, has declared Venezuela a threat to U.S. national security. Venezuela, which is a very oil-rich country. Like a very oil-rich country. Listen, instead of declaring them a threat to national security for whatever happened, go talk to him. Because they're an OPEC member, and the last thing I want is to be paying like $5 a gallon for my gas. Especially since he wrote up an executive decision to not fund the Keystone Pipeline. Because why the bloody blue hell would you want to have oil streaming into this country where we can pay like $2 a gallon? heaven forbid you create jobs and make the gas real cheap in this country, because we won't drill our own gas, even though we have tons and tons of reserves. There's a reserve of oil underneath South Dakota that they say could provide us with oil for like 3 generations of people.
That's a lot of generations.
Right, 3 or 4 generations, I think they said. But heaven forbid we tap our own national gas. We are buying it from people. So why would you piss off a country that controls some of our oil productions, some of our oil imports? I don't get it. I don't really get it. I don't get it. The last couple of, and I know some people. Listen, I'm not gonna badmouth the president on air. I'm not a fan, but I'm not going to badmouth him. But the last couple of weeks, he's made some executive decisions. Some of them have fortunately fallen apart. But I don't get the direction that he's trying to go in right now, because it makes no bloody sense. And I know some people who think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. You're all wrong, but whatever. But listen, if gas starts to go up very high in the next couple of weeks, couple of months, it's because we're in a fight with Venezuela right now.
Wonderful.
Yes. And because he didn't sign the Keystone Pipeline into law, which would bring us gas from Canada, who's our next door neighbor. We can have a lot of gas from them and pay like $2 a gallon. But heaven forbid. We would have paid $2 a gallon in New York State, because New York State taxes the absolute dog junk out of natural gas.
New York State taxes the crap out of everything.
That's a true story.
Everything.
But so people, you're hearing it right here.
Exclusively.
If gas starts to go up, this will be, it's weird because he had no influence over gas going down. He really didn't. OPEC was playing chicken with some of the gas makers in the United States. So like his approval rating went up because of gas going down. Well, he had nothing to do with it. But he's just set himself up to have everything to do with gas going back up. So good job. Good job.
Sounds like it. Sounds like a real good job.
No, it's not. But good job. Anyway, I'm done. I'm going to get off my soapbox.
Congratulations. Thank you for that.
No, I got so much I can say, but I won't.
Thank you to Don. Thank you to Don, John over at Get Ready America.
You just call it Don.
I think I called John Don.
Okay, we're going to go with that.
I'm just shot.
It's all good.
Thanks to Dawn and John.
Hi, guys.
Get Ready America podcast.
Yay.
And a GERE Radio Network executives. Thank you, as usual. Thank you to each and every single one of you who tune in each and every single week here on the GERE Radio Network. We thank you so much.
Better live than dead.
You are why we are here.
You know what? Before we go, I got a question for you.
What's up?
I was talking with my sister the other day.
Okay.
And she said, "So what's the name of your podcast?" And I was like, "Better Live Than Dead." And she was like, "And what do you cover?" I was like, "Mostly sports." And she was like, "You have a sports podcast called Better Live Than Dead?" And I was like, "Yeah, we do."
Good name.
And she was like, "But it has nothing to do with sports." I was like, "That's a good point."
I don't know. What do you want to call it?
No, I'm cool with Better Live Than Dead.
Play with my balls?
I was just curious where you came up with the name.
It was I think it was a live Motley Crue concert. The album was called Better Live Than Dead or something like that. I saw it somewhere. They said something like Better Live Than Dead, and I'm like, that's pretty damn cool.
Oh, okay.
It just always stuck with me. Plus, I think it's a Sex Pistols song or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's some stuff in life that you just hear or see and it just sticks with you, and that's one of them.
All right.
And I saw the opportunity. I couldn't think of anything. And I'm like, Better Live Than Dead's pretty cool.
I'm cool with Better Live Than Dead. I was just curious.
It could have been Play With My Balls.
I would be cool with that one.
Perez plays with my balls.
No, Perez doesn't. Perez does not.
Maybe that's what we'll change the podcast to. Plays with my balls.
No, I don't think we will.
Whatever.
I don't think we will. We'll keep it Better Live Than Dead. I was just curious.
It gets people wondering. It gets people thinking.
Sure. Absolutely.
But I got it from Motley Crue.
Okay, cool. Just curious.
It is what it is.
I was like, that's a good question, Rachel. I don't know.
Speaking of that, yeah, it's a good thing to know. You probably should know you are talent on the podcast, so.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know why John decided to call it GERE Radio Network.
Because of his daughters.
Okay, I can see that. Yes, I can see that. Makes sense.
You're learning. This is such an educational moment for you on the podcast.
Dude, I just show up, I spit nonsense, and I go home. So,
you're like a seat filler.
Exactly.
You're like a fluffer for the porn industry.
No, that'd be a completely different job.
You come in, you get the thing, you get everything all warmed up, and you peace out.
Right. So,
that being said, on that note, we are better live than dead.
You're not.
We are saying peace out, goodbye, have a good weekend.
Bye, Canada.
Bye, Canada. Bye, Lady Perez said hi to.
Jenny Garcia.
We will see you next week, same time, same place, exclusively
on GERE Radio Network.
Exclusively on the GERE Radio Network. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Adios.
And gals. See ya.